we're gonna have to find out. He's only at +1. Wow. That is a big, big deficit there. Siege tanks are going to be much weaker for him than they are for Hwasin. Hwasin's going to be able to 2-hit his tanks, whereas he's going to have to still rely on the 3 hits when in siege mode. That's huge. Looks like Hwasin is just, yeah, like I said, content not to attack this force, which is just on patrol in the middle of the map here. It is just very interesting. I mean, I think Hiya is basically waiting for Hwasin to go for an attack, and then Hiya is thinking, I'm going to counter one of these directions, and then kill off Hwasin while he can't do enough damage to me. But I think that's the wrong logic. I think Hwasin's too smart to let that happen, basically. I think he sees through it. And Hwasin, like I said, he's satisfied just patrolling his area, which is just much larger than Hiya's area of patrol. And he's not going to attack. He's just going to max out and wait for Hiya to mine himself out, basically. I mean, Hwasin still has all those new bases at the upper left and these natural expansions. Hiya right now is just desperate for resources. I don't understand this procrastination. It really is just bothering me right now. I wonder if Hiya is still still with it. He just seems to be like just praying for a stupid mistake from Hwasin. Maybe that is his best strategy. I don't know. Maybe he is just hoping that Hwasin gets impatient. But as far as I know, Hwasin's not dating Toss Girl anymore, or never was. That was Calm who used to do that, so he has nothing to go home for. I mean, what does he have to go home for at the STX house? He doesn't care. Anyway, we got a big attack coming now from Hiya. Finally, he's listening to my advice and advancing, but he doesn't have that much. And especially he has nothing to shield for his tanks. Man, and during this time, Hiya has built up a larger army. I think at a point, Hiya had a larger army than Hwasin, but Hwasin right now is perfectly ready to defend. But this is Hiya's gambit. He has managed to keep most of Hwasin's units in the middle. Now he is going to be going for a large drop in the main of Hwasin, and the thing is, I don't think it's going to work. Hwasin has probably anticipated a drop coming. If Hiya can manage to kill off the dropships, no, he's not going to be able to. If he had been able to, I think he might be able to hold this, but he doesn't have that many tanks in the mix there. Only 3 tanks, and Hwasin, it looks like, will be able to clean this up without Hiya doing much damage at all. I think that's game for Hiya. That was a pretty bold gambit. I think he had planned it out for about 10 minutes. Probably took him 10 minutes to figure out, okay, I'm going to do A, which is attack, and B, drop the main. But all right, so he's going to drop the natural now. I don't know if that was the best place to drop. I mean, I think this was a good effort, but I just think it was too late, basically. Even if he managed to take out all those factories, I think Hwasin would have rebuilt at one of his many other bases. Right now, he's going to take out a useless command center. Hwasin is not going to be very concerned with that at all, and Hiya is pretty much mined out at this point. I think he might have like 3 patches left in the entire map. Hwasin, was not tempted into attacking or to do anything stupid, and in the end, that that meant Hiya was the one who was finally forced to attack, and certainly he needed to do it earlier, but it didn't happen. He does have a new base, though, so this game might drag on a bit longer. He does have that new mineral only, but I think this is it for him, though. He might have some resources on the right coming out from his natural, but Hwasin solidly on 4 or 5 minerals. Yeah, on the left and upper left, there's 5 mining mineral bases, and that is going to be huge. Hwasin right now is going to clear up his own natural, and Hiya is still just going for it. I don't think it's I mean, at this point, he doesn't have much he can do, but this natural expansion is certainly not where he wants to do whatever he wants to do, because there's nothing there. So Hiya right now is going to drop. Okay, this is a smarter place to drop. Hiya still has a large army, apparently. He probably saved up a lot of resources, and he's able to reproduce his army, I guess. But I think he's got to be scraping bottom here in terms of how many minerals he has. He is going to pick off another base, though, and he does have more units coming, but Hwasin now has a large counter drop force. And that is going to be ready to counter wherever he goes, or he might decide to take out the middle. We're going to have to see. Hwasin also, of course, trying to play fairly carefully, not going for a rash decision, even though he lost this new base on the left. I think he's still in a comfortable position, though, economically speaking, and I think he is not going to try to do something rash to try to, in terms of panicking. Hwasin, managed to pick off 1 dropship, it looks like. Nice move there. And he has his main very well defended at this point. Hwasin is just in control of the map still. Hiya has been able to, make pinpricks against him, do damage, poke him, but he has nothing, like, basically he's poking him, but Hwasin has a giant sword inside of his belly, and he's poking him with like I don't know, a small twig or something like that. That was a horrible analogy. But anyway, Hiya though, his twig is getting a little bigger, a little sharper with this other attack on the left side. He's going to pick off yet another base of Hwasin's, and Hwasin now, it looks like he's the one who's delaying a little bit, perhaps too much, for his big counter attack. Just both players have been trading off in terms of in terms of who's taking the lead, who's being aggressive, who's being, in my opinion, procrastinating a little bit. And Hwasin this time might be the one who's the one caught on the wrong foot here. Hiya has managed to get a large force of mainly tanks. It's going to be very droppable, though, if Hwasin uses this large dropship fleet, because Hiya is not going to have any anti-air here. So this means that the drops are going to be able to get through, and once that happens, Hwasin should be able to take back his his lead. I would say even after losing 2 bases, he still has a lead because of the upper left, completely unharassed, and the fact that he's had these left 2 bases for much longer. So if we saw the resources count, we would see a huge difference. +3 attack for Hwasin. Hiya going for another drop. This is a good drop, and Hwasin's going to have to retreat again. Wow, Hiya once again has outproduced Hwasin somehow, but I mean, I don't know what to say. Hwasin should have the game still. I mean, I am calling this game very early. Several times I have called it back and forth, but I still think basically after Hiya petered out in the beginning, I think Hiya has not been able to he doesn't have a chance of winning, but certainly Hwasin's not doing a good job of winning either. Both players are just kind of playing a little sloppy. Hiya now once again advancing into fire. Hwasin once again trying to rebuild, and it looks like Hiya once again is going to win. I mean, he keeps winning these ground battles. It is actually quite impressive to see how many he wins. But Hwasin is the one mining, and that is what's going to come down to. You can have a better, a better army, or even slightly better control of your army. But if you have much less territory, much less resources, you're going to lose the war. And here comes, a failed drop there for Hwasin. Hwasin, though, has another one that's about to come up. Hiya just has tanks right now. I don't think he's bothering to build Goliaths anymore, and as you can see, just a couple of tanks left here for Hiya, and Hwasin might finally be able to win a ground battle. He has not had that much success recently, losing 2 bases, but I think he was able to sustain those losses, and we're going to see one of the critical bases perhaps getting dropped on, but no, Hwasin, what is he doing? He's just like procrastinating. He like doesn't want to go home. He doesn't want to go back to the STX house evidently, or he doesn't want to play luxury. Who knows? All right, there's the big drop. Now on top of Hwasin, Hwasin's dropping on top of Hiya. Hiya, man, getting all of his tanks in siege mode, but he's managed to do a lot of damage. But as I expected, he didn't have enough at the end. His 2 bases in the middle are so vulnerable, and they are going to get taken out. Just not enough bases left, throughout this entire latter half of the game. I think Hwasin just had a death grip on the economy, on the economic situation, so he could afford to lose more units. He could afford to even have a worse kill ratio. It's kind of like the, almost in some ways, the Soviets versus the Germans in World War II. In the end, it's just, sheer resources of Russia just, made it impossible for it to lose. And it looks like we are going to see these command centers go down. I know a lot of you armchair historians are also going to debate about a couple of other issues in the war. Obviously, I'm simplifying things, but, it is true that the bad guys basically had no chance once the war was declared with the United States and Russia. It was over. Just the sheer amount of material on one side just made it impossible for them to win. And in this case, Hiya, despite better tactics at certain points, also has found it impossible to win in the end without managing to kill off much of the economy of Hwasin's or get much of an economy going for himself. He has, desperately been trying to take these 2 mineral onlys, but they're just too late and too little. And as you see, they're going to get taken out right now in this very long Terran versus Terran game that's now reaching the 40th minute or so. It does look like Hwasin, who admittedly has played a little bit sloppy, is going to win the game, though, in the end. Although I do doubt the speed of his production. GG coming from Hiya at the very end. I will give Hiya a good amount of credit, though. Hiya has managed to pull off a long and interesting game of Terran versus Terran on this map. This is one of the more entertaining long games I've seen recently. Certainly a lot of back and forth and a lot of unexpected swings. I really think Hiya had a big advantage in the early part, but was unable to finish it off. Hwasin had a great job recovering, and then Hiya had a better job job, it seems, in the mid-game with his tactics, but Hwasin's economy at the end and his patience won him the game. So thank you guys for watching. Of course, your mileage may vary for your interpretations, and certainly I'm always happy to read them. So anyway, we're going to be moving on to the final game of this group. This is going to be Hwasin versus Luxury. Let's see how Hwasin does after playing a grueling game.